You hear that faint whirring sound? No, that's not your overworked brain trying to process another email. That, my friends, is the sound of the Stoic path, ready to whisk you away from the fiery pits of burnout and into a land where your inbox doesn't spontaneously combust. Buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to inject some ancient wisdom into your modern mayhem. The rise of burnout. When your spirit says, nope. All right, let's get real for a minute. Who among us hasn't felt that slow, insidious creep of burnout? It's like your internal battery pack is running on fumes, and even the most epic energy drink can't bring it back to life. But what is burnout really? It's not just being tired. It's a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress. Think of it as your mind and body staging a full-blown rebellion. The symptoms? Oh, they're a delightful smorgasbord of misery. We're talking about feeling utterly drained, even after a full night's sleep. That spark you once had for your work? Poof, gone. You might start feeling cynical and detached, like you're watching your life unfold from a really boring, distant planet. And don't even get me started on the performance dip. Suddenly, tasks that were once a breeze feel like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. Irritability? Check. Forgetfulness? Double check. Feeling like you're constantly on the verge of either tears or a full-blown primal scream? Yep, that's burnout waving hello. And here's the kicker. Burnout isn't some rare, exotic illness only found in high-powered CEOs. Nope, it's everywhere. It's the silent epidemic of our times. The always-on culture, the relentless pursuit of more, the blurring lines between work and life. It's a recipe for disaster. You see it in the frantic pace of the tech world, the crushing demands on healthcare professionals, even the endless hustle of content creators trying to keep up with algorithms. We're all connected, all pushing, and often, all crumbling under the pressure. I remember a few years back, I was so deep in the trenches of a particularly demanding project that I genuinely forgot what day of the week it was. My diet consisted mainly of lukewarm coffee and the crumbs from my desk. My social life? Let's just say my cat was starting to look concerned. I'd stare at my computer screen, and the words would just swim. It wasn't just physical fatigue. It was a deep, soul-sucking weariness. I felt like a zombie with a laptop. And honestly, it wasn't just my well-being taking a hit. My productivity plummeted. My interactions with colleagues became terse and transactional. And even my relationships outside of work felt strained because I had nothing left to give. It was a vicious cycle of exhaustion, breeding more exhaustion. You start to feel like you're failing, which just piles on more stress, which then makes you even more burned out. It's a real funhouse mirror of despair. The impact of burnout isn't just about feeling crummy either. It ripples outward. Think about it. When you're dragging, your productivity tanks. Mistakes happen. Innovation dries up. Morale plummets for everyone around you. And on a personal level, it's a thief of joy. It steals your passion, your creativity, your ability to connect with others. It can even mess with your physical health. Hello, stress-induced headaches and tummy troubles. We're talking about a serious erosion of your quality of life, both in and out of the office. So, yeah, it's a big deal. And it's something we have to address. Stoicism, a timeless philosophy for modern challenges. So, how do we fight back against this burnout beast? Do we all quit our jobs and move to a remote island? Tempting, I know. But before you start packing your bags, let me introduce you to an ancient philosophical superhero, Stoicism. Now, Before you picture a bunch of grumpy old dudes in togas frowning at everything, let's clear something up. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or being a cold, unfeeling robot. Far from it. It's a philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life, a virtuous life, by focusing on what's within our control and accepting what isn't. It's about building inner strength, resilience, and a pretty darn unshakable sense of calm, even when the world around you is going absolutely bonkers. The core principles are elegantly simple, yet profoundly powerful. First, there's virtue. For the Stoics, virtue wasn't just about being a good person in a fluffy, feel-good way. It was about living in accordance with reason, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. It's about making the right choices, not just for yourself, but for the greater good. Imagine applying that to your workday, showing up with integrity, making ethical decisions, and acting with courage even when things are tough. Then there's control. This is a big one. The Stoics were obsessed with understanding what we can control and what we cannot. We control our thoughts, our actions, our judgments. We do not control external events, other people's opinions, or whether your internet decides to spontaneously combust during your most important Zoom meeting. Embracing this distinction is like flipping a switch in your brain. Suddenly, you stop wasting energy on things that are outside your power and start channeling it into what truly matters, your own responses. And finally, acceptance. This isn't about being passive or giving up. It's about acknowledging reality as it is, without fighting it or letting it consume you. It's about being okay with things not always going your way, because let's face it, they rarely do. Acceptance allows you to adapt, to pivot, and to move forward without being bogged down by resentment or frustration. Think of it as rolling with the punches, but with a philosophical smirk. Now, why is this ancient wisdom so darn relevant to our hyper-modern, stress-filled workplaces? Because the demands of the modern world often feel overwhelming, precisely because we're trying to control the uncontrollable. We worry about deadlines, client demands, office politics, economic downturns, a whole laundry list of external pressures. Stoicism provides a framework for navigating these challenges without losing your mind. It promotes resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, by teaching you to focus on your inner fortress. And it champions emotional regulation, helping you respond to difficult situations with calm and rationality, rather than flying off the handle or sinking into despair. Let's break down those core Stoic concepts with some everyday examples, shall we? Virtue. Imagine you're faced with a colleague who's constantly trying to pass off their work as yours. The unstoic reaction might be to stew in anger, lash out, or engage in office gossip. The virtuous Stoic approach, however, would involve acting with justice, addressing the issue fairly and directly, perhaps with your manager. Courage, having that difficult conversation, and self-discipline, not letting your emotions get the better of you. It's about choosing to act with integrity, even when it's tough. Or consider a situation where a project goes sideways due to unforeseen circumstances. A Stoic leader wouldn't freak out or blame others. They'd apply wisdom to assess the situation, courage to admit mistakes, if any were made, and self-discipline to calmly find a solution. It's about being your best self, even when the chips are down. Control. This is a game changer. Think about traffic. You're stuck in bumper-to-bumper hell, and you're going to be late for that important meeting. You can't control the traffic. Raging at the steering wheel won't magically clear the road. What can you control? Your reaction. You can choose to get stressed, honk your horn incessantly, and arrive at your meeting a frazzled mess. Or you can choose to accept the situation, use the time to listen to a podcast, practice some deep breathing, and calmly call ahead to let them know you'll be delayed. The external circumstance, traffic, is outside your control. Your internal response, your thoughts and actions, is entirely within it. The same applies at work. You can't control your boss's mood, a client's unreasonable demands, or the overall market conditions. But you can control how you prepare, how you communicate, and how you choose to react to setbacks. This realization is incredibly liberating. It frees up so much mental energy that you used to waste on things you couldn't change. Acceptance. This one often gets misunderstood as resignation, but it's not. It's about acknowledging reality. Let's say you've poured your heart and soul into a project, and it gets rejected. It stings, right? The unstoic reaction might be to spiral into self-pity, resentment, or anger. The Stoic approach is to accept the outcome. It happened. It's done. That doesn't mean you don't feel disappointment, but you don't dwell on it. You acknowledge the reality, learn what you can from it, and then move on. It's about not letting external events dictate your inner peace. Imagine a sudden, unexpected layoff. Devastating, absolutely. But a Stoic wouldn't spend weeks in a rage about unfairness or why me. Instead, they'd accept the situation as an external event, acknowledge the emotions, and then calmly shift their focus to what they can control, updating their resume, networking, and seeking new opportunities. It's about adapting, not agonizing. See? No togas required. Just a powerful shift in perspective that can fundamentally change how you experience your workday and your life. Practical Stoic strategies for overcoming burnout. All right, now that we've got the Stoic philosophy down, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do we actually use this stuff to kick burnout to the curb? Because philosophy is great, but actionable steps are even better. 1. Embrace the dichotomy of control. This is probably the most fundamental and transformative Stoic concept for battling burnout. The dichotomy of control states that some things are within our control and some things are not. Our goal, as budding Stoics, is to put all our energy and focus into the things we can control and gracefully let go of the things we cannot. Think about your typical workday. What are the things that cause you the most stress and contribute to burnout? Often, it's things like demanding clients, unreasonable deadlines set by others, office politics, or a challenging economy. Here's the magic trick. None of those are directly within your control. You can't make a client less demanding, you can't force a deadline to move, and you certainly can't control the global economy. What can you control? Your thoughts about these situations, your actions in response to them, your effort, your attitude. Let's play this out. Your boss drops a huge, urgent project on your lap at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday. The unstoic reaction: panic, resentment, internally screaming about how unfair it is. The Stoic reaction: embracing the dichotomy of control. What you can't control: your boss's timing, the urgency of the project. What you can control: your response. You can calmly assess the situation, clarify expectations, decide if you can realistically tackle it before the weekend, or propose a revised timeline. You can choose not to let the sudden demand hijack your inner peace. You can decide to put in a reasonable amount of work and then step away, rather than spiraling into an all-nighter that leads to exhaustion. Another example: you're working on a team project, and a teammate isn't pulling their weight. You can't make them work harder. You can't force them to be more accountable. What you can control is how you communicate with them, how you escalate the issue, if necessary and appropriate, and how you manage your own contributions so that you're not taking on all their slack and burning yourself out in the process. It's about setting boundaries and protecting your own mental and physical energy. This isn't about being lazy or shirking responsibility. It's about being strategic with your limited resources, your time, your energy, your focus. When you focus on what you can control, you become a master of your own domain, rather than a victim of circumstance. It's incredibly empowering. It's like being a lighthouse in a storm. You can't stop the waves, but you can control your light, ensuring you remain steady and guide yourself to safety. 2. Practice cognitive restructuring. Ever caught yourself spiraling into negative thoughts? Like one little mistake at work suddenly transforms into a full-blown existential crisis, where you're convinced you're going to be fired and end up living in a cardboard box? Yeah, that's your brain playing tricks on you. The Stoics called these irrational thoughts assents, the judgments we make about external events. Cognitive restructuring is essentially a Stoic mind hack for identifying these sneaky negative thought patterns and replacing them with something a little more grounded in reality, a little more rational, and a whole lot more constructive. Here's how you do it. 1. Identify the trigger. What happened that set off this negative thought chain? Maybe you got critical feedback on a report, or a client was unhappy. 2. Catch the thought. What's the specific negative thought running through your head? I'm a failure. They're going to fire me. This is impossible. 3. Challenge the thought. This is where the Stoic wisdom kicks in. Ask yourself, is this thought truly rational? Is there concrete evidence that you're a total failure because of one report? Probably not. Is this thought helpful? Does thinking I'm a failure motivate you to improve, or does it just make you feel worse and paralyzed? Usually the latter. What's the worst case scenario, and can I handle it? Even if the worst did happen, e.g., getting fired, would it truly be the end of the world? Would you be able to find another job? Spoiler, yes, you would. What's a more balanced or alternative perspective? Instead of, I'm a failure, try, this feedback is an opportunity to learn and improve. Instead of, this is impossible, try, this is challenging, but I can break it down into smaller steps. For instance, let's say you receive some harsh feedback on a presentation you delivered. Your initial, unstoic thought might be, oh God, I'm terrible at public speaking. Everyone thinks I'm an idiot. My career is over. Challenge. Is it truly rational that one piece of feedback means you're terrible and your career is over? Probably not. Is it helpful to think that? Definitely not. Restructure. A more stoic, rational thought would be, okay, I received some tough feedback. That doesn't mean I'm a complete failure, but it does mean there are areas I can improve. What specific points did they make? How can I apply that feedback to my next presentation? This shifts your focus from self-blame to constructive action. It's about stepping back from the emotional whirlwind and looking at the facts. It takes practice, but it's a powerful tool for preventing those negative spirals that fuel burnout. It's like having a mental bouncer for your brain, letting in the helpful thoughts and kindly showing the door to the unhelpful ones. 3. Develop a stoic mindset. This isn't a one-time fix, it's a way of being. Cultivating a stoic mindset means embedding these principles into your daily life, especially when it comes to work. It's about intentionally choosing certain attitudes and perspectives that foster inner peace and resilience. First up, gratitude. In the midst of deadlines and demands, it's so easy to focus on what's going wrong. The Stoics, like Seneca, talked a lot about focusing on our blessings. This isn't about being naively optimistic. It's about shifting your perspective. Take a moment each day, perhaps at the start or end of your workday, to genuinely reflect on things you're grateful for, even small things. Did your coffee taste amazing this morning? Did a colleague offer a helpful suggestion? Did you successfully complete a challenging task? Did you have a stable job that provides for you? Practicing gratitude actively rewires your brain to look for the positive, which is a powerful antidote to the negativity often associated with burnout. It keeps you from drowning in the minutiae and helps you appreciate the bigger picture. Next, resilience. Life throws curveballs, and work is a veritable pitching machine of them. A Stoic mindset embraces challenges as opportunities for growth, not just obstacles to be endured. When something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective transforms setbacks into stepping stones. It's like a mental martial art. You learn to use the force of the challenge to your advantage, bending rather than breaking. This is particularly important for combating burnout, because often it's not just the amount of work, but the way we react to it that drains us. A resilient mindset helps you weather the storms without being capsized. Finally, a focus on what truly matters. In our consumer-driven, achievement-obsessed world, it's easy to get caught up in external metrics of success: salary, promotions, fancy titles, bigger offices. The Stoics remind us that true well-being comes from within, from living virtuously and fulfilling our duties. When you feel the burnout creeping in, take a step back and ask yourself, is this truly aligned with my values? Am I chasing something that will actually bring me lasting satisfaction? Or am I just on a hamster wheel of external validation? This isn't about abandoning ambition, but about ensuring your ambition is directed towards what truly matters to you, rather than blindly following societal pressures. It's about distinguishing between genuine progress and mere activity. Are you busy, or are you productive in a way that aligns with your deeper purpose? This clarity is a powerful shield against the forces that lead to burnout. Finding meaning in work. A Stoic perspective. Let's be honest, for many of us, work can feel like a relentless grind, a means to an end. But what if we told you that even the most mundane tasks can be imbued with a profound sense of purpose, a lost Stoicism? Because finding meaning in work isn't some fluffy, touchy-feely concept. It's a powerful bulwark against burnout and a key to a more fulfilling life. 1. Focus on purpose. The Stoics weren't big on chasing fleeting pleasures or external accolades. They were all about living a life of purpose, of aligning your actions with your deepest values and goals. This applies directly to your work. Instead of just seeing your job as a paycheck, though let's be real, paychecks are pretty great. Try to connect your daily activities to something larger than yourself, something that truly resonates with you. Ask yourself, what values do I bring to my work? Example, integrity, creativity, problem solving, helping others. How does my work contribute to the world, even in a small way? What impact do I want to have? Let's say you're an accountant. On the surface, crunching numbers might not seem like the most inspiring pursuit. But if you connect it to a deeper purpose, say, helping small businesses thrive, ensuring financial stability for families, or contributing to a transparent and ethical economy, suddenly, those spreadsheets take on a whole new dimension. You're not just a number cruncher, you're a guardian of financial well-being, a facilitator of growth. Or perhaps you're in customer service. It can be a tough gig, right? Dealing with frustrated people, repetitive issues. But what if your purpose is to bring a moment of calm, clarity, or even a smile to someone's day? To solve a problem for another human being? To be a source of reliable help? Then suddenly, each interaction becomes an opportunity to live out that purpose. You're not just answering calls, you're building bridges. You're a frontline ambassador of helpfulness. This shift in perspective, from just doing a job to fulfilling a purpose, is a powerful motivator and a robust defense against the feeling of meaningless exhaustion that often characterizes burnout. It gives you a why beyond the what, and a strong why can carry you through almost any how. 2. Embrace the value of contribution. This ties in closely with purpose. The Stoics understood that humans are social creatures, and that contributing to the well-being of the wider community is a fundamental part of living a virtuous life. Your work, no matter how seemingly small, is a form of contribution. Think about it. Even if you're sweeping floors, you're creating a clean, safe environment for others. That's a contribution. If you're writing code, you're building tools that help people connect, create, or solve problems. That's a contribution. If you're teaching, you're shaping young minds and empowering future generations. That's a massive contribution. When you start to see your work not just as a series of tasks, but as a direct contribution to something larger than yourself, it imbues it with profound satisfaction. It's no longer about you and your tasks. It's about us and our collective progress. This perspective helps you transcend the mundane and find dignity in every effort. It turns just a job into my part in the grand tapestry. This mental reframe is incredibly powerful for battling the feeling of being a cog in a machine. Instead, you become an essential, valued part of the engine. It's like being part of a symphony. Even if you're playing the triangle, your contribution makes the whole piece richer. 3. Cultivate a growth mindset. Burnout often stems from feeling stuck, stagnant, or overwhelmed by challenges. The Stoics, long before Carol Dweck coined the term, inherently embraced what we now call a growth mindset. They saw challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for learning and development, for honing your character and your skills. When you face a particularly tough problem at work, instead of thinking, "Ugh, this is impossible, I'm never going to get this," a Stoic with a growth mindset would think, "Okay, this is tough. This is a chance for me to learn something new, to push my boundaries, to develop a new skill. How can I approach this differently? Who can I learn from?" This perspective shifts your focus from the immediate discomfort or difficulty to the long-term benefit. It turns failures into feedback and mistakes into lessons. If you're a software developer encountering a bug that seems to defy logic, instead of banging your head against the wall, a growth mindset encourages you to see it as a puzzle to solve, an opportunity to deepen your understanding of the system, and ultimately, to become a better developer. This isn't about being relentlessly positive in the face of adversity, but about recognizing that every challenge, every setback, every seemingly overwhelming task is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. It injects a sense of purpose and progress into your daily grind, actively combating the feelings of stagnation and helplessness that contribute to burnout. It's like seeing every obstacle as a personal trainer, pushing you to get stronger, not just a pain in the neck. Living a Stoic life, actionable steps for a more fulfilling career. Okay, we've talked philosophy, we've talked mindset. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually do this Stoic thing in your everyday working life? Here are some actionable steps to start building your own personal Stoic toolkit for a career that feels less like a prison sentence and more like a purposeful journey. So how do you create a Stoic toolkit? Just like a good carpenter has their trusty hammer and saw, you need your own set of tools to navigate the ups and downs of work. These aren't physical tools, of course, but mental and emotional practices that you can deploy when stress starts to mount or purpose feels elusive. 1. Journaling, morning and evening reflections. This is perhaps the most powerful Stoic practice. Grab a notebook or open a digital document and use it for 2 key moments. Morning reflection, premeditatio malorum. Before your workday even begins, Take 5 to 10 minutes to mentally prepare for potential challenges. What difficult emails might you receive? What unexpected problems might arise? By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, you can anticipate your responses and prevent being caught off guard. It's not about being negative, but about being prepared. If this difficult client email comes in, how will I respond calmly and rationally? If this project hits a snag, what's my first step? This builds a mental resilience to external shocks. Evening reflection, exam. At the end of the day, review your actions. Did you act with virtue? Did you focus on what was in your control? Did you react emotionally to something external? Where could you have done better? This isn't about self-flagellation, but about honest self-assessment and continuous improvement. Seneca was a big fan of this, and it helps you learn from your experiences and refine your Stoic practice daily. 2. Meditation and mindfulness. While not exclusively Stoic, these practices align perfectly with Stoic principles. Mindfulness. Take short breaks throughout your day to simply observe. Notice your breath, the sounds around you, the feeling of your feet on the floor. This anchors you in the present moment and prevents your mind from constantly rehashing the past or worrying about the future, both major sources of burnout. Even a 60-second mindful breathing exercise at your desk can make a huge difference. Meditation. Dedicate 10 to 15 minutes a day to formal meditation. Apps like Headspace or Calm can guide you. This strengthens your ability to observe your thoughts without getting swept away by them, a crucial skill for cognitive restructuring. It builds that mental muscle of detachment from your thoughts. Mindful walking. If you can, step away from your desk for a quick walk. Pay attention to your senses, the feeling of the air, the sounds, the sights. It's a moving meditation that helps clear your head and gain perspective. Instead of aimlessly scrolling your phone during a break, try a mindful walk around the office or block. Reading Stoic texts. Immerse yourself in the wisdom. Start with Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's essentially his personal journal. Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, or Discourses by Epictetus. Even just reading a few lines a day can provide profound insights and remind you of the principles. There are also many modern interpretations and summaries available if the ancient language feels a bit dense at first. Find what resonates with you and absorb that wisdom. 3. Set realistic goals. This is a big one for preventing burnout. We often fall into the trap of setting impossibly high standards for ourselves or taking on far too much, convinced that more equals better. The Stoics would argue that excellence isn't about endless accumulation, but about purposeful action and living within your means, including your mental and physical means. Quality over quantity. Instead of aiming to churn out 10 mediocre reports, focus on delivering 2 exceptionally good ones. This aligns with the Stoic emphasis on virtue and doing things well. It's not just about getting things done, it's about doing them right. Break down big tasks. Overwhelm is a major contributor to burnout. When faced with a massive project, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Focus only on the very next step. This makes the task less daunting and provides a sense of accomplishment as you tick off each mini goal. It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Prioritize ruthlessly. Not everything is equally important. Learn to distinguish between urgent and important, and focus your energy on what truly moves the needle and aligns with your values. Don't be afraid to say no to things that don't serve your purpose or that would push you into burnout territory. This ties back to the dichotomy of control. You can control how you allocate your time and energy. Saying no to a non-essential task is saying yes to your well-being. Embrace good enough. Striving for perfection is a sure path to burnout. The Stoics understood that perfection is an illusion, and that striving for good enough allows you to complete tasks efficiently and move on, rather than getting bogged down in endless tweaking. This is particularly true in many modern workplaces, where speed and iteration are valued. Ship the 80% solution and iterate. 4. Connect with a Stoic community. You don't have to walk this path alone. While Stoicism emphasizes individual inner strength, connecting with like-minded individuals can provide immense support, inspiration, and different perspectives. Join online communities. There are thriving subreddits. Stoicism is a great one. Facebook groups and forums dedicated to Stoicism. Engage in discussions, ask questions, and share your experiences. It's a fantastic way to learn from others and feel a sense of belonging. Explore books and articles. Beyond the ancient texts, there's a wealth of modern books, articles, and podcasts that interpret Stoicism for contemporary life. Ryan Holiday's The Daily Stoic is a popular entry point, offering daily nuggets of wisdom. Consider different authors and find voices that resonate with you. Attend local meetups. In some larger cities, you might even find local Stoicism meetups or discussion groups. This offers a chance to connect in person and delve deeper into philosophical discussions. Find a Stoic mentor. This doesn't have to be a formal arrangement. It could be someone in your life, a colleague, a friend, a family member who embodies Stoic principles in their actions. Observe them, learn from their calm demeanor in challenging situations, and seek their advice. Remember, living a Stoic life isn't about being perfect. It's about continuous effort and growth. Each day is an opportunity to practice, to learn, and to refine your approach. By consistently applying these strategies, you'll not only combat burnout, but also cultivate a more resilient, purposeful, and fulfilling career and life. So there you have it, fellow travelers on the Stoic path. We've journeyed from the murky depths of burnout to the clear, calm waters of purpose and resilience. Remember, this isn't about magically eliminating all your problems. It's about changing your relationship with them. It's about taking control of your inner world, even when the external world feels utterly chaotic. You've got the tools now: the dichotomy of control, cognitive restructuring, a growth mindset, and that awesome Stoic toolkit. Now go forth and apply this ancient wisdom to your modern mayhem. Your brain, your body, and your inbox will thank you. And hey, if you found this deep dive into Stoicism and burnout as mind-bendingly fascinating as we did, do us a solid. Hit that like button, drop a comment below with your favorite Stoic strategy. And for more wisdom that actually helps you live a better life, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. Until next time, stay Stoic, stay strong, and keep finding meaning in every single day.